Are you able to turn it? Well, actually, we're gonna be muted. Never mind.
Hi, Kari. Hi, Alex. Hey, Rach. Hi, Danielle.
Just a minute.
Hi.
Hi, Lori. Hey, Lars. Hi, Barbara. Ash is across my table. It's like I saw her pop on, but she's actually here working with me. Hey, Mary Ellen. Hey, Samantha. Okay, you guys, I am gonna mute you and we're gonna get going. Hey everybody, thank you so much for popping on to our Monday night team training call. I'm super excited to be here with you guys, and I'm gonna go through just a few announcements and just kind of updates before we get into tonight's team call. I know that there's some stuff going on with one of our team members on the East Coast tonight where a lot of people are, and I know Laura's in Columbia, so I don't know what our call attendance is gonna be like, but hopefully this will be a great recording that you guys can use and come back to or send out to others later on. But if you can think of someone right now on your team, crossline, upline, downline, that you would like to hop on, just send them a message, just quickly send them the Zoom link, say hop on. This entire call tonight is on connecting. I have slides for you, which I use like twice a year. I'm actually using a PowerPoint that has some ideas on there. So whoever you want to be fired up and just really, really to be growing their relationships for 2020, send them a quick little ping and tell them to hop on. And in the meantime, just a few updates. If you guys have not checked out the Isagenix events calendar, it was public last week. So if you go to isagenixevents.com, all of the information is up there for celebration, obviously for New Year's kickoff. Hi, Miss Michelle. The new Isagenix academies are up there. The University in Actions are listed. So check that out and just put those dates into your calendar. May 2nd is the one in Denver. It's just a one-day Saturday training. It's going to be amazing. And it's out in like the Lone Tree kind of Inverness area. So heads up for that, but there is stuff all over the country and the calendar is up. The free membership promo was extended. So that was supposed to end on the 12th. The shipping is no longer going on, but the membership piece is. So there is now free membership still through the 23rd. So just a great time to really help people take advantage of joining Isagenix and saving money. ISA Rally, you guys remember that the points were backdated from December 30th. You were able to register as of January 1st. Hi, Miss Kathy. And you have until February 2nd to get your teams registered. So if you're not on a team of 6, remember no more than 2 directors or executives, you want to go and obviously join a team or create a team, but you've got a couple weeks to be able to do that. Not only is Birthday Shake a permanent flavor and it's available in packets, not just canisters, but if you get 2 people started, right now they're giving you a free canister. Ashley came over and I was like, where's the coupon section in your back office, you know? And I'm like, and she's like, what? And I was like, I'm trying to find my birthday cake coupon. She's like, oh, I got that too. Like, how fun, right? That you're able to earn this free canister of shake just for getting people healthy and paying it forward. So that's kind of it. That's all I've got for you guys tonight. Hi, Angela. Thank you guys for joining. In the last little bit, before I share my screen and pull up the notes, I have been collaborating with a lot of other Denver leaders, so not just on our team, to really get the momentum and get our events going. And none of us enjoy having an event where like we invite 3 people and 1 comes, right? Like we want to go into a room that has 10 or 20 or 30 people. And so I have been chatting with Alex. I know she's got some stuff that she's working on in the South Denver area. I know Rach and Casey and my mom are working on some things in the South Denver, Castle Rock, Parker, Colorado Springs, New Mexico, just kidding, area. Ashley and I are covering the Wyoming corridor. I'm just kidding. That's where I feel like we are. But nonetheless, there's all kinds of stuff going on. But these two girls who happen to fall under Hillary Courtney that I was introduced to, we are going to be doing every single Wednesday downtown starting in February. So the 5th is the first week. We're going to do Wind Down Wednesdays or Wellness Wednesday, but consistently every Wednesday at the Colorado Collective. It's a community workspace right in the heart of downtown. It's in the Dairy Block. It'll be a fun, sexy place for people to come to the meeting, go have a drink afterwards, whatnot. We're also putting together a monthly, not Super Saturday, but I want to think of it as like a business mastermind, like a meeting where we can go through some training, we can go through some role playing, those types of things. And it's going to be the first Tuesday of every month. And that's at a coffee shop in Cherry Creek that we have a private room available for. So just kind of be watching for that. If you can plug into it, great. If you don't live in the Denver area and that doesn't work for you, I just encourage you to join something. You know, I talked to my good friend Jenny today, and she just was like, I'm so frustrated with committing to events and inviting people and them not coming. I said, how do you feel though when you leave? She's like, always better, because I love this community. And it's just like, you know, to borrow the energy, it's not always about having people there. It's just staying motivated and inspired and continuing to learn. So that's kind of what I've got for you in terms of announcements and updates. And I'm going to go ahead and just share the screen right now, hopefully. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. And get into tonight's call. Can you guys see it? Are we good? Okay, awesome. So this was the training that I did for the Super Saturday that I was in St. Louis with Laura. And a lot of times when we do our business trainings or we do the Zooms, I just talk, and I know it's a lot, and I know we're visual learners, and this is such an important topic, especially this time of year, that I thought, what's the way that they can get the most out of this? So feel free to take screenshots of the slides. You know, if you guys are, that's going to help you to be able to go back to it if you just want to listen and learn. I know I talk fast, but I really think that connecting and learning how to do this is such an important piece to being a professional network marketer. So I love that my sister's on this call because she wasn't in St. Louis when I told this story. But this was like our nicknames as little kids. And sometimes people will say to me, like, Lauren, you make it sound so easy. Or I would just love to be able to talk to people the way you talk to people. And the first thing I want to tell you is I didn't always sound like this. I have been talking about Isagenix all day long for 6.5 years, and that is a lot of conversations. That is a lot of presentations that remember that every master was once a disaster. And I was totally a disaster trying to prospect Uber drivers and wait staff. And I know that I offended people, or I was awkward and it was weird, but I was willing to do it, right? However, some of us are really, really shy. Some of us don't know what to say. We don't know how to say it, and you have to learn somewhere. This is a skills-based business. So a strength of mine, and I've had it since I was a little kid, is I love to talk to people. I do. I love to talk to them no matter where they are. I'm so curious what people are doing. I love to compliment people. I cannot make enough friends. I was checking out at the grocery store today, and you guys know I don't use self-checkout because that doesn't leave me an opportunity to talk to anybody. And the woman behind me, they have these little single servings of Prosecco's that they sell. And I could see her kind of looking at it. And I just looked at her, I mean, unsolicited opinion. I said, it's good. And she was like, oh, I wasn't sure because it's like pretty inexpensive. I said, no, it's actually really good. And I said, hey, I don't know if you've ever seen if they do the buy 6 bottles, you get 10% off. And I said, but they count those little bottles. And she was like, seriously? And I said, yeah, a lot of times I'll buy like 3 or 4 bottles of wine and then a couple of the Prosecco minis, and I get the 6-bottle discount, even though I didn't really buy 6 bottles, right? This is the conversation I'm having at the grocery store waiting to check out. This was like 3 hours ago. But this is me, Little Miss Chatterbox, right? I just talk to people. So through the conversation, she says to me, oh my gosh, I host these wine parties. That's so good to know. And I said, do you have a book club, or are you in a network marketing company? She's like, a network marketing company. And I said, I figured because of the wine party, the way that she said it. And she goes, are you in the industry? I said, yes, I'd love to get together with you. And I'm like checking out, right? So what's the best way to get a hold of you? She gave me her name and number. I like sent her a screenshot of my Facebook profile. I said, I'll catch up with you later. And I was out to King Soopers, right? So I'm going to give you a lot more examples of this, but this is me. This is Little Miss Chatterbox. Like, they get mad at me at the yoga studio because you're not supposed to talk when you go in there, and I want to talk to people, okay? Now here was Rachel. Rachel was super shy. When we were little kids, she was too nervous to order like pizza delivery. And she would tell you this, I'm not making fun of her, right? Like, I'm like, will you, like, our parents would like leave us $10, like call Domino's. And she was so nervous, like I would have to do it. And I used to tease her about it until I realized just how much that we get so worried what people think about us, or we're perfectionists and saying the right thing, or this idea of rejection, or what do we sound like, that we get so up in our head we forget what we're trying to do in the first place. But I remember being at a bar, and it was in South Denver, it was Del Frisco's, and Rachel was sitting at the bar at happy hour, and she enrolled this woman on the spot with, at the time, was a Pacesetter pack. This woman was like going on a trip, and I come out of the bathroom, and Rachel's like best friends with this girl. She's putting in the order, and I was like, yeah, like anybody can learn how to do this. And so I share that story because whether you're me and you talk to everybody and you have too many people to follow up with, right? Because you're constantly talking to people, or you're wrapped up in your head of what do I say? How do I say it? We're going to give you some good content tonight, some good options to be able to connect with some people. So this is just a quote that I love. The richest people in the world look to build networks. Everybody else looks for work. I mean, it is so important to find networks. I mean, you want to be duplicative. You want to have other people doing the same thing as you if you really want to be successful at this. And so just kind of keep that in the forefront of your mind always when you're reaching out to people. Without being judgmental, if I'm scrolling through Facebook and I'm trying to join new groups, or I want to have new friends, like if you have less than 100 friends, like sorry, like I'm at this point in day and age, like if you don't have 100 friends on Facebook, like you are not the influencer I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for the person that's like 4,993 friends. I'm like, oh yeah, this person has a massive network. How do I become one of her last like 7 friends before she's maxed out? So just kind of think about this, because there is strategy and there's intention in the people that you want to connect with. So I'm a huge fan of just overall building relationships. And so often people join networking groups, and sadly there's one, BNI, I was in it for a long time, that are what we call like transactional chambers or transactional networking groups, and they're forced on closed business to business. And what happens is it's all about the sale, but you're not really building the relationship. And I'm a fan of joining networking groups that are more transformational. They're more mastermind. They're genuine. You're growing, you're learning. And out of that, there becomes really authentic and really honest business relationships, and people that you want to refer to, people that you are going to be loyal to. And so when you're thinking about building your business, you're not recruiting and you're prospecting trying to close on the spot. And sadly, I've been using this analogy for 6.5 years. I still have yet to come up with a better one. But if you have ever been out on a blind date or the first date, and the person that you're with is trying to hook up right away, like the way it makes you feel, and you're like, they're not interested in me, they really could care less, all they want to do is get in my pants, that is how you make other people feel if you are just focused on the close. If you are just focused on how quickly I can enroll them with a value pack or a president's pack or whatever. But if you are actually spending time getting to know these people, learning their goals, asking questions, having fun, and here's my favorite one, being unattached to the outcome, number one, you will find that there are people everywhere. And number two, you can let go of this idea of if people say no, it has nothing to do with you, right? Like you being attached to the outcome, you're making it about yourself. Regardless if people want to do Isagenix or not, regardless if they want to get healthy or not, you have to just let that go and just be so bold and so excited about what you're doing. So I'm going to tell you a story, and you guys, this is how I always teach connecting. I like end up like squirrel, bird, whatever, because the stories come up. But I was introduced to someone a couple weeks ago, and because of the holidays, we decided that meeting in January would have been better. So we go to lunch last week. And the email introduction that we both received, the gentleman that introduced us, I was slightly intimidated to meet her. She may have been too. Like the edification that had happened in this email made us both look like just super women, but I was slightly intimidated to go. And I'm like, this girl's out of my league. Like, what am I supposed to talk to her about? And I was telling a couple of my girlfriends I was with earlier, I'm like, I'm going to go meet with Mrs. Colorado. Like, what am I supposed to talk about to Mrs. America? Like, I have nothing in common with pageants. This girl's like beyond gorgeous. You know, I'm like so in my head about it. And I'm like trying to do like my pump up thing in the car, right? Like, you're a badass, you have a great business, like, you know a lot of people and whatever. And we go to lunch and it's so awkward. Like the whole first 10, 15 minutes is just awkward. And I don't really want to do what she's doing. She doesn't really know what I'm doing. It's like these sterile questions. And I finally like am talking to myself and I'm like, Lauren, get out of your head and just get to know this person like anybody else. Forget that she won Miss America, just talk to this person, right? And come to find out, she shared her whole story with me and part of the divorce that she is going through and the struggles that she has. And it was like I was listening and we were genuinely connecting, that I authentically was like, you need to do this. This is going to change your life. And I used story after story after story of people in Isagenix that she could relate to. And so tonight you're going to hear me talk about why you need to be a master story collector. Not only master yours, but master others. That on the fly, you can share Danielle's story, you can share Barbara's story, you can share Ashley's story, because people relate to that. But the point being, when you're building relationships, I did not go to True Food last week thinking I'm signing up Mrs. America. Like, that was not it at all. It was like, okay, I'm grateful for the connection. Let's see what happens, right? But be fun, be authentic. You have got to always be connecting with people, whether it's online, it's offline, it's going to a networking meeting, it's sitting on next to someone on the plane, it's talking to the Uber driver, it's talking to your server, it's asking for referrals. Wherever it may be, you have always, always, always got to be building relationships. So the other piece of this is 80% of your time, y'all, needs to be prospecting and enrolling. 20% of your time, read a book. 20% of your time, listen to a podcast, get on this training call, update your vision board, whatever it may be, 80%. So if you're doing Isagenix 10 hours a week, let's say 1 to 2 hours a night, 5 days a week, that's the time that you can put in to Isagenix. That means 8 of those hours you are connecting, you are prospecting, you are presenting, you are enrolling, you are sharing the Isagenix story. So many of us feel like we're so busy because we're wrapped up in social media, or we're commenting on everything, we're liking on everything, we're listening to every training call. But how many people have you talked to? How many people have you shared the Isagenix story with? How many people have you invited to a virtual, invited to a Super Saturday, invited to a launch party, invited to take a look, to see something on Isamovie? So just know that this connecting piece is the foundation of your business. You cannot worry about rank advancing anybody if you don't have somebody in the pipeline. You know, you can't worry about increasing your cycles if you don't have people that are shopping from your store, and it starts with prospecting and enrolling. So the first piece of this is to build your list. As you're networking, you want to have an active list. And there are some people that are so organized, they've got Excel sheets and they track it, and they've got this beautiful contact managing system and what date they called them and what they said. If that works for you, cool. That does not work for me. When I started 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I had a spiral notebook. And I literally would write out there, like, Casey, coffee shop, January, said no, right? And then I would go back and be like, okay, I met her at a coffee shop. She doesn't want to do this, right? Like, and I would remember my notes, and I would have, like, Danielle sat to on the plane on the way to St. Louis. Like, she said money was an issue, right? And like, try to keep track of these notes. Today, my list is literally on my notes app in my iPhone. Like, as I'm meeting people, I'm like, Nicole, Core Power, Barbara, coffee shop, Danielle, King Supers. Like, I just am adding through there so that when I sit down in the morning and very first thing I do is my reach outs, I'm never getting ready to get ready. I have so many people on my list that I have to stop when my hour is up and then go on to what I'm doing, because I have too many people in the pipeline. As I'm always adding to it. If you're like, okay, well, I have not been doing this, where do I start? Print out your Facebook list. Like, I promise you, not one person on here has A to Z messaged, called, texted everybody in your Facebook friend list. Start there. When I was first building, you guys, and I love when Rachel's on here and I can tell stories that she knows are true. I called every single person in my phone, A to Z, every single person. To the point that I didn't even know who I was calling, but I was like, I have such a burning desire. I'm reaching out to people. I remember calling this gentleman once, and he was like, now you call me back? And I was like, I don't remember how I know you. And I was thinking, like, maybe I worked with him, like, and we had been out on one date, and I basically ghosted him. And I was like, well, are you interested in getting healthy? Because I have this shake system. And I was like, didn't go so well. But Conchetta on our team was an old client, and I happened to be calling her when I was literally calling every single person in my phone. So if you're like, where do I start? Your LinkedIn connections, your Facebook list, every single person in your phone. But there is no way that none of us could have an active list right now. So here's some ideas of how to make your list. You know, when you just think about your family and friends, who are your email addresses? You guys, who's getting spam, not even spam, but you've signed up to so many things. You're like, why am I still getting these things from these companies, right? And I don't mean like Express, right? Like the clothing store or Macy's, but I am getting like happy hour invites to a financial advisor I worked with 5 years ago. But sometimes I respond. I'm like, hey, thank you so much for always including me. I live far. This isn't really something I can come to often, but I'm happy to refer some people that are. I'm also looking for people right now that want a health goal. I'm looking for some people that are working on a transformation or looking for additional money. You talk to your clients every day about money. If you happen to come across someone looking for additional income, I would love an introduction. I would love your referral. I really appreciate your business. You know, like just planting that seed so that when someone goes in there and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, we didn't get our bonus this year, and I'm just already starting the year out without more money. I want to do it. He's like, oh, hey, call my friend Lauren, right? So, like, using the email list, not only who is in your contacts, but as they're coming in, respond to them. Share with what you're doing. Add them to yours. I forward mine to my assistant all the time. When I get them, I forward them. I say, add them to my prospect list. Add them to my MailChimp, right? I just forward it. I'm like constantly building the contacts because you never know when someone's ready. Who is your holiday list? Like, who did you send Christmas cards to, if that's something that you do, right? Who's in your cell phone? Who are the people you're doing business with? Like, where do you get your hair done? Where do you do your finances? Where do you get your nails done? Who grooms your pet? Who watches your kids? Like, where are all these things that you're already doing business with? These are people you have relationships with. And people buy things from people they know, like, and trust, that you want to work with the people you already know sometimes, in addition to constantly adding people to it. I'm also a huge fan, you guys, of like what we call it growing your pools, okay? Like growing your networks. And what I would encourage you to do is like take a screenshot of this and print it out, or just draw it on a piece of paper and mimic this. But you're looking for an influential person in a network that then go reach out to all the other people. So if I were thinking about my networks right now at Core Power, would I want to start with talking to the members? Do I want to talk to the instructors, or do I want to talk to the studio manager and get her on board so that then she can get all the instructors on board and the instructors can get the members on board, right? Like, what's the best use of time here? Same thing, if I'm thinking about a daycare, right, where I drop the kids off, which I don't have, I'm using an example. Do I want to talk to the other mom? Do I want to talk to my own preschool teacher? Or do I want to talk to the administrator and get her on board, that then will get the teachers on board, that will get the other moms on board? And it doesn't always have to be hierarchical like that. But if you are at a book club, right, is it something that you want to sign up all 15 people in the book club? Or do you want to get the person that has influence, the person that they do whatever that person says, right? They want to be where Ashley is. They want to be doing what Ashley's up to because Ashley's fun, Ashley's exciting, right? Like, that's what you're thinking with these pools. And this is also going to help you go executive. Remember, you only need 10 friends that all found 2. So who are 10 people that have influence, that are networked, that you can really start to connect with and then work through their network, that you don't have to do all those individual people, right? You're finding some people that have influence, that have the attractor factor to drive their network. This is one of the most important lessons, I think, when it comes to connecting, and it takes a while to learn. But put a reminder somewhere when you reach out to never prejudge anybody. It is so easy for us to be like, oh my gosh, Danielle would never want to do this. You know, she makes so much money. She has everything in the world that she needs. There's no way she would need extra money, right? Like, and just be like, I'm never calling Danielle. It'd be so easy to go, oh my gosh, Mary Ellen is the busiest person in the world. She's so busy. There's no way she would ever have time to do anything else. Like, she's a single mom. She runs around with 2 kids. She's too busy to do this. Like, we tell ourselves stories. We worry about people being too rich to do this, being too poor to do this. We let people's networks and their influence affect us wanting to reach out, right? We're like, oh my gosh, like, what's that person going to think about me? If they don't want to do this, they're going to tell everybody I'm in an MLM company. And so we put these people on our chicken list, right? And we create all this drama around someone who is like anybody else. They put their pants on the same way, they eat the same way, they sleep the same way, and we never know. And part of remembering this is just remembering the stories. So Janie Elo, who was my mentor. You know, she was married to an NBA player for 15 years. Well, they are married. He played for 15 years. Super high net worth, right? She'd been a stay-at-home mom for decades. There was zero part of her that had been in the workforce, the career environment. There's some people that she doesn't need the money. She doesn't need to work. You know, she's gorgeous. She's fit. She's lean. She doesn't need our products. But what they didn't know is that Janie was unfulfilled. They didn't know that she wasn't making an impact, and that she had committed her life to being a wife and a mom, that she thought this was fun, and she's a competitive person, and she wanted to serve other people, and she wanted other people to have that amazing life, right? If someone hadn't talked to her, there's millions of people that wouldn't be here and wouldn't have been affected by Isagenix because someone talked to her just like anybody else. You know, I always say Rachel and I joined for completely different reasons. Rachel was another one that was looking for the fulfillment. She was looking for purpose and passion. I was desperate for the money. You know, sometimes we look at people and we think they have it all together, and we don't. So when you're coming from a place of connection, come from a heart of service and be unattached to that outcome, right? We don't know who's suffering in silence. We don't know who's looking for the products, who's looking for the business, who's looking for the community, who's looking for the personal development. I always say that we invite, they decide, and we support, right? So we are asking people to take a look. Whether or not they want to do it or not, we will support that decision. And the quicker that you can just realize to let go of the nonsense of who does or doesn't want to do this, you'll find there's a lot more people to talk to. Because I promise you, when I say go through your entire phone list, you all got anxiety. Immediately you're like, oh God, do I got to call Charlie? Oh no, that means I got to reach out to Douglas. Oh, what's Brooke going to think, right? You probably already had that, right in the chat. If I'm like a little bit correct. And if you were like, okay, I can reach out to every single person, right? Like there's a bit of me that's Barbara's like, I'm doing it. I'm taking on the challenge. I'm going to reach everybody. She's so on fire. You know, everybody's a little bit different with this. But I think that it's so important to just remember that we're messengers, and for them to decide, not for us to decide who wants this and who doesn't. So I'm going to switch to just focus here for a little bit on the warm market. There's a sheet you can print out from isagenixbusiness.com called the Memory Jogger, and it will help you make your list. It will help you go through that same slide that I asked you about. Like, who did you go to school with? Who do you work with? Who do you go to the gym with? Who do you do your nails with? Who cleans your house? Who is your banker? Like any of these things to help you come up with it. But here's a way to make it not weird when you're thinking about accountability partners. And I use this even in the very beginning with people that want to go consultant, right? They want to get their products paid for. So let's say that I just got Samantha signed up on her value pack, right? She's super excited. And I start talking to her about getting her products paid for. And she says to me, oh gosh, Lauren, I don't know anybody. I don't want to sell anything. There's no way that I'll ever be able to do that. I'm just going to have to put it on my credit card. And I'll say, really? And I said, so Bad Boys is coming out, right? And I cannot wait to see Bad Boys. Like, I love Will Smith. If you were going to go see that movie, who would be a couple people that you would go see that movie with? And suddenly she's like, oh, Michelle would want to go with me. Angela would want to go with me. Alex would want to go with me. I'm like, so these same people that would go see the movie with you, do you think it's possible they would be interested in doing a cleanse with you? Oh, I didn't think about it, right? Like you got to be a little bit creative to get them to share names. So again, maybe I just get Danielle started and she's like, I want to try the products first. I don't want to sell anything yet. I need to make sure I've got 8 abs before I tell anybody what's happening about this. And I say, okay, that's fine. If it were me and one of my best friends was getting super lean and waiting to tell me, and we're going to show up at spring break and that person's got a transformation and I'm like 2 months behind the curveball, like I'd be upset. I'd be like, really? Like you go to the beach with 8 abs and I go with my fluffy New Year's muffin top because you were waiting to tell me, right? And like you have to put this in the other words. So another question I'll ask, I'm like, hypothetically, if you got a huge promotion today, if you got a massive raise, would you tell anybody? Who would you tell? Who would you call? Oh, I'd probably tell my mom. I'd probably tell my sister. I'd tell my spouse. Oh, yeah. You don't think they want to be healthy or make additional income. They're like, oh. So part of it is just getting them to think differently. And then, of course, helping them with what to say and how to say and what to do. I heard this at my very first event, you guys, to lead with your heart and not your head. It's so true. is not about knowing everything. It's about being excited what other people can do, what other people want, what other people can have. And the second piece of this is to be inspirational, not informational. You don't have to know everything. IsoProduct will tell you everything. IsogenicsHealth.net will tell you everything. Isogenics Business will tell you everything. If I went out to eat, so let me give you an example. I went to Super Mega Bien on Saturday night. It was amazing. Ashley came over here earlier. I'm like, dude, you need to go. And I'm telling her, I'm like, it's a Latin, Asian flair restaurant. The vibe was awesome. They play hip hop all night long. I ate something that looked like an egg roll, but it had chorizo in it. It was awesome, right? Like, this is it. She like wants to go. So I don't know how long the chefs went to school. I don't know what ingredients they use. I don't know the cost of everything that was on the menu, but I'm telling her it was fun. It tasted good. It was awesome. Now she's like, hey, I have a date on Saturday night. Maybe we should go to Super Mega Bien. This is the way it works. Isogenics is the same thing. If you're like, okay, it's $379.12 and it's all organic and it has genetically modified this and like, what? Like, no one cares. But when you say, I don't even know what's in this stuff, my pants are slipping on with ease, I slept like a baby, I have so much energy, I don't need coffee anymore, and it tastes great, people want it, right? Like, you just have to be real in talking to people of what excites them. They don't care about the calories. They don't care about all the ins and outs. And if they do, they're going to ask you, but don't unsolicited offer the verbal vomit of our nutritional ingredients. They don't care. They don't want to read it. You know, it's about being excited. It's about being passionate. When you hear people complain, like, I'm exhausted, be bold. You know what? I used to feel the exact same way. I've got something that's going to help you. I've got something that will help you never feel that way again. You know, when you hear people complaining now, I cannot freaking believe how much credit cards we racked up over Christmas. I said I wasn't going to do it, and I did it again, right? Some of those people are still trying to pay off 2018's credit cards from Christmas, and now they got 2019 on there saying, hey, I don't know if you keep your options open to additional income, but I would love to show you how to make a few $1,000s in the next 90 days. If this would help you, we should chat. Like, that catches people's attention. You don't have to know we have a binary compensation plan that builds 2 legs and paid on unlimited levels. You have to know that you can get people paid. And then whatever you don't know, pass it on to your sponsor, another leader on the team, your upline, crossline, work with someone to say, you know what, I'm brand new, but I would love to get you on the phone with Ashley. She is so good at this. She can answer all your questions. You know what, I'm still learning, but Laura is a great resource. I would love for us to be able to call her together and make sure we get all of your information, you know, squared away, all your questions answered, because I want you to make this few $1,000s in the first quarter of 2020. So now I'm going to switch to the cold market for a little bit, you guys. Like, this is people you don't know. And what I find often is people do well in one of 2 markets. They either are totally good talking to friends and family, ex-boyfriends, their best friends, their colleagues, but the idea to talk to a stranger paralyzes them. Or I often find that people don't want to talk to their friends and family at all. They're so concerned what people think about them, but they have no problem talking to a stranger. They're like, okay, if I talk to the customer service rep at Macy's and I never see her again, who cares? The idea is there are people everywhere. So your warm market, where you can come from your heart, you guys, you can tell them, hey, I know that you have been trying to lose weight for a long time. I can't even think about all the cleanses we've done together. I found something that works. I found something that is actually transformed my health. It's so easy. You are the first person I thought about, right? Like, that is a conversation to have with your warm market. Your cold market is different, right? You're building these relationships, but you cannot miss out on opportunities. So when you go and get a pedicure, for those of you that do that, ask questions. How long have you been coming here, right? What do you do for work? Do you like it? What are the things you don't like about it? If you could do anything, what would you do? Like, people never get asked those questions. They forget how to dream big. They forget about possibility, and people love to talk about themselves. If you become a master connector and so good at just getting to know people, they will pour their heart and souls into you, and they will tell you what it is they're looking for. You know, when I sit down on a plane, I'm always like, hey, are you from Denver? Or are you going to, you know, St. Louis? Are you coming back to Denver, or are you from Nashville? Like, wherever I am from, right? That's part of it. What do you do? What part of town do you live in? Do you have kids? Are you married? Like, do you have pets? Starting to ask questions, because inevitably they're going to say, what do you do? And you can say things like, I own my own business. You know, I'm an executive with a health and wellness company. All day long, I get to help people look and feel their best and make a crap ton of money from the pockets of their time from home. They're like, what? You know, like, again, it didn't always sound like that, but you will get better at this. But it's asking questions so that then you have an invitation to say what you do. When I go to coffee shops, I have an Isagenix shaker cup on the side. I have the products on the side. Something that I'm not like running around in a bedazzled, sparkled Isagenix shirt, but I have it out there because I am looking for the person who like looks a little curious. And I'm like, hey, have you ever seen this before? They're like, no, what is it, right? You have a Cleanse for Life bottle on your desk. People are gonna look at it. They're gonna ask you like, what is that? And I can, just start a conversation with them. I can't even tell you how many times I've been on the phone mapping out you share, they share, right? Like maybe I'm on the phone with Amber and I'm talking to her about Lori getting her products paid for and Denise getting her products paid for. And I hang up the phone and this woman next to me is like, I didn't mean to overhear you, but what are those people doing that they're earning that $1,000, right? Like there's people everywhere. Sometimes I eavesdrop on conversations unintentionally, but I will hear a conversation. This has happened more than once where someone's like, I don't know, I'm supposed to put Susie Q through basketball and we can't afford it. And I'll say, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to intrude on your conversation, but I happen to overhear it. And I am so passionate about showing moms how to make supplemental income to say yes to all the things their kids want. If you're interested, I would love to show someone just like you how others on our team have done it many, many, many times. Like how often are people just left and right pouring in to help other people? But you're not going to meet anybody in your office by yourself. You're not going to meet anybody in your kitchen all by yourself. You have to get out there. I told you the story of the grocery store. Gyms are huge. You guys, people are at the gym for the most part, 2 reasons. Some are just healthy and they want to have energy. The majority of people at the gym are for 2 reasons. One is to lose weight. One is to build muscle. Like that is the majority. And Isagenix has those products. So when you see someone drinking a Spark or drinking a Red Bull or drinking a Rockstar, to be able to say, hey, I don't know if you are open to learning about other energy drinks, but I love that I found something that makes me feel so good. I don't have the jitters and there's no garbage in my body. If you're at all curious, I would love to be able to send you some information on it. I make my shake at the gym. So I learned this from Tana Kirkpatrick. I bring my shaker cup with ice and water in it in the packet, right? And after my workout, as opposed to going out to the car and making my shaker cup where no one's going to see it, I make it in the locker room or I make it at the desk and we'll go in and out and I shake it up. There are so many times people say, what is that? I've never seen that. Where do you get that? Because it's not a brand that they're familiar with. I take an e-shot every morning. But if I take it in my car before I walk into Core Power, nobody sees it. I intentionally like leave it on the front of my yoga mat sometimes. I like go to the restroom and I come back, right? And I take it. The amount of people organically have said, what's that little red bottle you drink every morning? What's that little thing that you always take? People ask me and it starts up a conversation. Like you have to be a walking billboard. And that doesn't mean you look amazing. That means that you have energy, that you're living your life out loud and you're excited about using the Isagenix products. I love to just have those types of organic conversations. So whether you are at kids activities, like I went yesterday to Alana, my soon-to-be stepdaughter's volleyball tournament yesterday, and I partied a little hard on Saturday night, so I was not on my A game yesterday morning, but we go and we're in this tournament for like 10 hours, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a massive opportunity because I was watching all these moms hand their kids Cheetos and Takis and Gatorade. And I was telling Ryan, I was like, I'm going to be armed next weekend. I'm going to make protein balls. I'm bringing the whey-thins. I'm bringing all my hydrate sticks. I'm so fired up. I already started it today, printing out my address labels with my name and contact information on all these hydrate sticks because it's a huge opportunity to just be like, hey, I don't know if you're interested, but that stuff is not so good for them. This stuff is good for them. Like I wanted to give all these girls e-shots. They were so exhausted after their 6th volleyball game. And I thought they all need an e-shot. I mean, I would love to be able to give them to these girls and watch them play better. And everybody like, what was that you just gave our child? You know, they're teenagers, they can have them. So just when you're thinking about the cold market, there's people everywhere. But if your lights are not on in your store, people don't know to reach out to you, okay? You've got to be excited. You've got to use the products out loud. You have to see opportunity and just be bold. Be able to strike up a conversation with somebody anywhere enough to exchange contact information, enough to say, hey, do you usually come to this cycle bar class? I love accountability partners. We should connect on Facebook and commit to going to a couple classes a week so we don't miss it, right? People are like, yes, absolutely. Then you're talking about which class you're going to go to that week. But in the meantime, they see you post Barbara's before and after picture, right? In the meantime, they see you post about the bone broth. So by the time a few weeks later, you're back at the gym, they go, hey, what's all that nutritional stuff that you always post about? Like, it's so much better when people ask you about it than you have to always bring it up to them. But it's, again, adding people to the list. It's talking to people everywhere you go, and it's being a product of the product. I'm a huge fan, you guys, of going to places that you like to be at. So I don't want to go to a dog park. I don't really love dogs. I don't want dog hair on me. I don't love dog slobber. I surely don't want to pick up dog poop. I don't have a dog. So if I went to a dog park to prospect, it's not going to take long for either person to realize that, like, that's not a good, authentic mix for me. Now, Ashley has a great dog. She can go to a dog park. She can make 18 friends that all want to be dog friends and have a whole list of people. This is how you start to see where people are, and that there is an abundance of people to talk to. I'm never going to be like, oh my gosh, if Ashley goes to the dog park, she's going to enroll all of my prospects. My people are not at the dog park, right? But I want to go to the new Pilates studio that's in downtown Denver that's heated. I'm like, Hot Works. Those are my people, right? I want to go find those girls and go have a coffee chat afterwards. Go to the restaurants that you like to hang out at. I don't care if the people at Arby's and Taco Bell need Isagenix the most. I'm not going there to try and find those people, right? Like, do what feels natural. And this will also not seem like in addition to, it'll just flow. There are people where you are going anyways. Like, don't feel like you have to go out of your way to find people. If you take a Lyft, ask them, why do you do this? They're going to tell you they like flexible hours, right? If you don't drive, how do you make money? Oh, I don't. So if you got sick this weekend, you would make no money? No. Would you like to learn about how to have residual income so you're never in that position? What? Yes, I'd love to tell you more about it. What's the best way to get a hold of you? I didn't have to take an Uber to prospect, but if I was going to take the Uber to go out for dinner anyways, why not have that conversation? So just keep it in the forefront that it doesn't have to be in addition to what you're doing. It happens where you're going, the people you're coming in contact with all the time. So when you are connecting, just a few things, like TID points, you guys, be genuine, ask questions, be a great listener. Like, if you ask a question and you talk over them and you interrupt them, that person's going to shut down, right? Like, they've got to know that you're hearing them. I would love, love, love when you can, like, repeat back to someone what you heard, right? Like, reinstate their goals, reflect on what they're saying, give compliments, be happy. But there's something that says, like, be the energy you want to attract, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. If you are grumpy, no one wants to talk to you. If you're excited and you're fired up, people want to talk to you. Like, think about the way Emily Vavra lights up a room when she goes somewhere. I think about what Jessica Rigner energy is like when she goes somewhere. Like, imagine an aura, like a color aura that you can ooze out of you when you go places. Like, are you so bright and so sparkly and so excited that people want to be with you? Or are you like, hey, yeah, I'm good, I'm tired. Like, they don't want to be a part of what you're doing. You're as exhausted and miserable as everybody else. And so just kind of think about those things about smiling and using your facial expressions when you are chatting with people. Your ultimate goal, you guys, is to find out what's missing in their life and then to be able to fill it with Isagenix. Ask so many questions that they tell you they have no energy. They are telling you that they want to lose weight. They are telling you that they're broke. They're telling you that they're unhappy. Whatever it is that you can say, you know what? I used to feel the exact same way until I found this amazing community, right? I used to feel the exact same way until I found this amazing nutritional program. I used to feel the exact same way when I carried around credit card debt. That feel, felt, found that you can connect with people and relate to them, but then also offer a solution is huge. So there's like 2 big training points here, you guys, that is going to help you with your connecting with the verbiage. This comes from Eric Worre. I cannot take the credit for it. I just use it. It's in Grow Pro, but he uses a script that basically says, I'm in a hurry. This gives you permission to be direct and get to the point and not have, 20 minutes to catch up with your middle school best friend. You edify them and compliment them because this takes their guard down. This makes people receptive to what you're saying because they feel good, be genuine. And the third piece is to state the purpose, like what it is you're doing. So for example, I might reach out to Mary Ellen and I'm like, hey babe, I hope you're having an awesome Monday so far. I'm in a hurry. I'm about to hop into a meeting with my CPA, but I wanted to reach out to you. I have watched you on social media. You are so fit. You are so committed. I see you check in at Orange Theory all the time. And I'm reaching out because our company launched this next level sports performance line that I'm watching athletes just up level their performance. I think you would absolutely love it. If you're open to learning more or have a little bit of time to chat, let me know a couple times that work best for you. Have a great day. I gotta go. You guys can send out 3, 4, 5 messages like that in 5 minutes, first thing in the morning. Like, come home from your workout, adrenaline is up, endorphins are through your body, and reach out to people. So another one, and I just did this, so it's fresh in my head, right? I'm not gonna say her name, I'm gonna use a different name. I'm like, hey, Cindy, I'm in a hurry right now. I'm about to walk into a meeting, but I saw your post this morning about your company doing layoffs. I don't know if you keep your options open, but I would love to chat with you. You have so much natural leadership. You have so much passion. I love your positive attitude that I would love for someone like you to join our team. I think right now might be a better time than the last time we chatted. I'm doing a virtual meeting on Wednesday. If you're unable to join, let me know and we can set up another time to chat. Have a great day, right? But you're in a hurry. This gives you the point to get straight to the point. Edify them. What about them is why you're reaching out to them, and state your purpose. So we're always like, hey, how's it going? Good. I like your kid's shoes. Cool. I like your bag. Looks like you had fun on Saturday night. And there's this ping pong ball going back and forth of no direction. And at some point you have to be intentional. You have to be excited about what you're doing. So I want you guys to take a screenshot of this or print it off and be intentional. Use this when you're talking to people. It also could be great with the cold market. So if I had an amazing server, right, and I'm like, hey, I know that you're busy with tables, I've got to get going. And I said, but you were awesome. Like, you had the best customer service. You paid attention to detail. You made our entire experience tonight. I am constantly looking for people to be on our team with the charisma like yours, with work ethic like yours. I'd love to be able to connect with you later on this week. What's the best way to get a hold of you? You can use this script on social media. You can use it in the cold market. You can use it with your long lost friends, but it works. So a second one, and you guys, there's no pros or cons, like which one's better or worse. It's just what works for you. And something Jessica Rigner came up with, and then I modified a little bit, right? We tweaked it. It's so bad that the acronym is EW, but it works so well and everybody remembers it. So if you ever want to rename this, we're inviting people to give it a new name. Otherwise, I'm like, ew, because it works, all right? So the EWWW is, again, to edify them, stating what do you have, then what's in it for them. But the last piece is like, what do you want them to do, right? Like really guiding this conversation. So I do this a lot of times on Instagram, right? I follow these influential people, these bloggers, these people I kind of don't know, but I'm like, how am I ever going to talk to them? Like, what am I going to say, right? And I come back to this formula because it works. So I might be like, hey, Brooklyn, I am so excited that I landed on your page. Like, your energy, your message, like, it's everything that I'm about. I'm reaching out to you because I have a virtual franchise. I am so committed to helping more women make 6 or 7 figures in the next couple of years, and I thought about you. I see your hustle, but I can only imagine the life you would have with unlimited income. I can imagine the life that you could give your kids when you had this type of residual income. I'm doing an event on Wednesday night. I need you to hop on. It's only about 15 minutes, and then we can set up a private interview afterwards. If you're not busy, then I'll see you then. If you are, let's set up another time to chat. Right? Like something of this sort, and your posture, your clarity, your excitement is what's going to direct the call. So I might do it again too with a friend that I've known for a really long time. And I'm like, hey, Leah, it is so fun to see all of your posts for 2020. I cannot believe how big your kids are getting and all of the success that you're having. I'm not sure if you've seen what I've been up to, but I have a hold of something that I've watched change hundreds and thousands of lives in the last few years. I am so obsessed with finding people that want to have the life of their dreams, that want to have unlimited income, that don't ever want to clock in and clock out again. And I thought about you. I would love to meet you for coffee. I'll be in Denver next Thursday or next Friday. Let me know what's best. I want to have a one-on-one so you can learn more about this. Like, people are like, what? Like, you are hand selecting people, and it goes back to if you are the captain of a football team, you're picking your all-star players. You don't want a C team, you want an A team, right? If you are a director of business development, a director of marketing, a director of sales, you're not picking every single person that submits a resume. You're picking your A team. And you can do the same thing with your Isagenix business. So I've alluded to this. It is so important to share your story. Be a master at sharing your story, you guys. There are a couple different templates. You can find this on isagenixbusiness.com. You can find it in our Dreamers in Action page. But there is the 30-second Eric Worre version of sharing your story. This could be a whole different training call. There is the David Wood version of how to share your story. But ultimately, this is how you grow your business. Yes, it's wonderful when people organically reach out to you like, oh my gosh, Barbara, you look so good. Every time I see you, you're like the ever shrinking Barbara. What are you doing? That's going to make her feel amazing. And it is absolutely a great way for her to be like, it's this nutritional program. I'd love to tell you more. I'd love to get you started on one of our 30-day systems. But that doesn't always happen, right? You've got to be able to talk to people and tell them how you learned about Isagenix, right? You've got to be able to use social media to tell your story. That doesn't mean you're constantly putting links up to your website, but that you're bold about the way you live your life, that you are bold about what these products have done for you. Just living your life out loud and talking about it. I mean, there's people that clearly know I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't clock into work because I'm at lunch at 2 o'clock and I'm at pedicures at 9 a.m. and I'm at yoga at 3 in the afternoon. That's me living my life out loud. And people say, what is it that you do? How are you always in such a good mood? And I say, oh, my own business. It's absolutely amazing. Have you ever thought about owning your own business? If you can ask questions, you're going to engage with people because they want to talk about themselves. They're asking questions because they're curious, but your job is to say something that's enticing and zip it so that then you can be a collector and really learning about them and asking questions about what it is for them. And the last little piece here, you guys, and I was just chatting briefly about this with Ash before we open the call, your mindset is so important with this. Like if you pick up the phone tomorrow morning, you're like, okay, Lauren said I got to do my 3x3, but Kari's going to tell me it's too expensive, and Mary Ellen's going to tell me that, you know, we're not regulated by the FDA, and Barbara's going to tell me I'm in a pyramid scheme. I don't even know why I bothered to do this. Everybody says no, it's so hard. Like, you're right. That's exactly what you're going to find. You are going to prove yourself over time and time again. But if you wake up and you're like, man, I feel good. Like, I freaking love cleansing. I love bone broth. I love getting paid on Mondays. Who in the world is looking for Isagenix? Who can I pay this forward to right now? Who else wished they got paid yesterday? Who else wishes they were slipping into jeans right after the holiday season with ease? Oh yeah, I'm calling Kari. I know she's fired up. She cannot wait to hear about this. Like, your mindset around this is so important. And when people tell you no. So it starts with how you reach out, but it also starts with how people respond to you. So I have consistently enrolled 2 or more people a week since I joined Isagenix. There are sometimes I've enrolled 10 people in a week. And of course, there are times that I've had 0 or 1. But I have had my Enrollers Club free vitamins that you get with 5 enrollments a month every month since I've been in Isagenix, okay? And I tell you that not because every single person I talk to enrolls. It's because I'm so excited about what I'm doing and I'm bulletproof, but I go through a shit ton of no's, a shit ton. So for 1 enrollment, it used to be 5 or 10 people said no to me in my warm market. In the cold market, 20, 30, 40 people might be saying not no to me or not now, right now. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm not worried that Mary Ellen isn't ready yet. I'm not worried that Lars isn't ready yet. I'm not worried that Denise isn't ready yet, okay? I'm focused on the person who needed to get paid yesterday. I'm focused on the person who just got terrible news from their doctor about their health situation. I'm willing to dig deep to find Mrs. America, who the last person on the world I would have thought about needs Isagenix, right? But it's like, you've got to be bulletproof there. And remembering that no means not right now. So part of this is how you set up the call, right? It's the same way. Like when you go into a first date, and you can feel desperation. You can feel when people are anxious. You can feel when they're insecure, and no one's attracted to that. When someone's confident, when they've got charisma, when they've got swag, you're like, yeah, right? Like you want to be a part of it, even if they're not that hot. So part of that is when you're prospecting, when you're talking to people, the way that you go into a room, the way you welcome people at your tasting event, whatever it is, being so rock solid about what you're doing, not worrying what other people think. But the flip side of this is if people say no to you, they are not saying no to you. And so don't let that deflate you. I can't even tell you the amount of people that are like, yeah, thanks, I've moved on to this company. Yeah, thanks, I'm doing Whole30. Yeah, thanks, I don't do cleanses. Yeah, thanks. I mean, I've been messaging our entire downline. We have so many inactive people saying, hey, it's 2020. I'd love to have you a part of our New You Cleanse. Thanks, please take me off your list. No, thank you. Thank you, but I'm doing this. No, thank you. Oh, I don't really want to do anything. I've done something else, right? No, 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 no. That could be so deflating that I'm like, maybe I should get a job. No one wants to do Isagenix. Like, that's not the case, right? But I think about the fact that Laura is in Colombia, right? Like, she's in Colombia. First of all, how many people in the world go to Colombia today? And she got paid today to go off with her husband. Like, I think about that and how different her life was 5 years ago. I'm like, yeah, there's somebody else out there that wants to go to another country on vacation with their significant other and get paid while they're there. I know that. I think about Barbara's story, right? Like, I love every time she does her hashtags of this journey. Like, I read that hashtag and I'm like, this woman is so on fire with what she's doing. There are other people out there that want this community and want the transformation. I think about the single moms on our team that are able to put their kids through sports that wouldn't have been able to without Isagenix. I just talked to a girl last night for an hour on the phone, hairdresser, husband was just laid off, and she is scared about exchanging time for money. She's got 2 little kids, right? In the midst of all the no's, I'm like, okay, I'm finding that other hairdresser that has carpal tunnel that wants Isagenix, right? So you've just got to remember that this is not about you. They're not saying no to you. Don't let it deflate you. Don't let it get it down. It's just not for them. I've told you guys for years, when Rachel would invite me to Indian food, I would say no. Not because I don't want to go to lunch with my sister, because I don't want marsala anything. It has nothing to do with Rachel. It's that I don't like Indian food. So some people are saying no to you. Some people just don't want to be healthy. Some people just don't want shakes. It's okay. Move on and go find the people that are really looking for it. And just be willing to trust the process. Very rarely people say yes right away. I mean, statistically, it's like 4 to 6 follow-ups. You guys, it took me 6 years to join Isagenix, right? Like, one of my builders right now is so frustrated that she talks to people and they don't enroll right away. I'm like, you do know it took you 6 years to join my team. And she's like, I'm like, 6 years. Like, you were one of the first 5 people I called. 6 years later, you joined Isagenix. Like, you've got to be patient with people. And sometimes we forget about that. We're so excited. And it's like, oh, I'm going to build this business. And then you're like, wait, what? Like, no one's saying yes right away. You have to follow up. You have to nourish this relationship. You have to build trust. You have to build consistency. But the number one thing is people are watching what you're doing. Every day, people from the preview page reach out to me, and I'm on this search hunt trying to figure out who added them to the page, because they think the person that added them doesn't do it anymore because they stopped posting. They stopped engaging in the page. They stopped keeping the lights on in their store. So they're like, hey, can you help me? Because I can't get a hold of my sponsor. Like, I don't think she does it anymore. I'm like, no, actually, she does do it. Let me introduce you back to her, right? But it's about being consistency, because when they are finally ready, they're going to think about you. There's another girl that I've been working on for over 2 years. 2 years. She has given me every reason underneath the sun. And out of nowhere, she goes, I'm back. I want to do it. She just moved back to the US and she was like, I'm ready. What do I need to do? I didn't even reach out to her. And I asked her right away. I said, what changed? And she goes, part of it is I have watched you in your consistency. I think there must be something behind it. For 2 years, I've seen you talk about it every single day. So just remember that when they're saying no, it takes a little bit of time, but they will come around when the timing is right for them. So here's a little bit of homework for you guys. I'm all about activity. So in the next 2 days, I would encourage you to make your list, right? Develop your list and develop that approach. So maybe you're committing to your Facebook list. Maybe you're committing to your phone A to Z. Maybe you are committing to your Christmas card list, right? And then what are you going to do? Are you going to use the U method? Are you going to do ATMs? Are you doing the Eric Worre script? Like, what is your approach to reach out to these people? And within the next week, I encourage you to actually set up some appointments, right? Do a tasting event, invite people over. If you've never watched Emily Vavra's The Master of Inviting training, it's so good. And it's only about 12 minutes long. Schedule a tasting party for the end of January, right? Make your list this week. And over the weekend, say, hey, I don't know if you've seen what I've been up to, but I am doing this fun little health and wellness event. I thought about you. I'd love for you to come. You know, it may or may not be for you, but I've seen a lot of people just like you grab a hold of this and transform their lives. I'd love to have you at my house, right? Invite them over. Say, hey, I'm going to be in your neighborhood. Do you want to grab a cup of coffee? I'd love to catch up. I mean, really just get your calendar set up. And over the next month, you do it again. And you do it again, and you do it again. Like you guys heard me say in December, who has a tasting party set up in January, right? It was the first of the year. If you didn't do one, like you're behind the boat. You should already have February scheduled, and February have March scheduled. If you look at any business, they have their calendar in advance for the year. How are you treating your Isagenix business? I can tell you right now, we are rolling out a Valentine's Day 9-day cleanse right before Valentine's Day. We're kicking it off after NYKO. I did not schedule that today. I scheduled that back in December. I know that we've got our spring break cleanse, that reset coming in March, right? We've got our July 4th specials. Like just like Isagenix has their calendar, we do it. So when you're looking at growing your business, tracking it, updating your list, updating your connections, updating your events. And the last slide I have for you tonight is just remember, it's not about you. It's about what you can do for someone else. I truly believe that you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That's not my quote, but it's true. Janie Elo met Kelly Dickerhoof, who's a top 10 income earner, on a plane. She was a burnt out spin instructor, mom, tired, needed the product, and she is one of the most successful network marketers in the entire world. She and her husband make about $2 million a year. They have for the last 7 years. Janie talked to her, they met on a plane. What if Janie had never, ever talked to her, right? Mackenzie Arball, who's a top earner in Isagenix, she got a spray tan from Rebecca Cafiero, right? If Rebecca hadn't have talked to her, naked getting a spray tan, she wouldn't be here. You never know where you're gonna meet people, and you're gonna miss a lot of shots. A lot of people are gonna reject you, right? They're not rejecting you. They're just not ready for Isagenix, but that's the way it's gonna feel. A lot of people are going to say not now. A lot of people think you're in a pyramid scheme. It's too expensive. They're a part of another company. They only do Whole30, whatever. But you never know when you're going to find the next Emily Vavra, the next Susan Sly. Emily Vavra was a burnout medical, assistant, and she was living on her friend's apartment on an air mattress. Look at her now. Millions of people in millions of different network marketing companies are looking up to her, because somebody talked to her, right? Some girl talked to her about the opportunity and got her super excited and coached her and mentored her. So just remember when you're reaching out to people to be focused on what their life could look like and never what they will think about yours. It's always about changing the life of somebody else. So I know that this call was a little bit longer than normal. I think it's a really important topic. I encourage you guys to listen again if it'll help you take notes, but really, really just commit to connecting with more people, because the more times you tell your story, the more people learn about Isagenix, and inevitably, the more people that will join your team. So good night, you guys. Happy Monday. We will see you next week. We are doing a call before NYKO. Love you. Bye. I didn't read any of the